Welcome to the Everything Podcast. I am your host,
Chuck Manatee.
And in today's episode, we will be reading another one of my wife's recaps for Bridgerton. This time it will be a more detailed recap of Season 4, Episode 1, titled The Waltz. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Episode 1. There is definitely a big difference right off the bat after how Season 3 ended. We get introduced to a new scene, or rather a behind the scenes to the Ton with the view from the servants' quarters. We get a quick glimpse into the Bridgerton's house servants' lives as they get ready for the Bridgerton's return from the county and from Scotland. With Viscount Anthony and Lady Kate Bridgerton still in India, we come to understand that Benedict is yet again in charge of the Bridgerton family for this season. However, after the slow build up to his rakish life, it's made obvious he has returned into a complete rake this season. And that's apparently a derogatory statement, just so by the way. And his mother is on the case to make sure that is not the case. I was getting anxious this far into the season as Lady Whistledown had not made a voiceover appearance as yet. And the title sequence had just begun, so I made sure to keep a sharp eye out for that one name that helps shape the series into the show that it is. And at last, in the middle of the title sequence, I saw the name Julie Andrews. I immediately knew there was still hope for the show. Queen Charlotte calls on Lady Whistledown to hear all of the gossip firsthand before the newsletters are delivered throughout the Ton. As Penelope is reciting her letter to the Queen, the well-known Lady Whistledown voiceover begins. The masquerade ball is hosted by Lady Violet Bridgerton, and it is the first ball of the season as Lady Danbury has passed the torch down. The Queen attends the masquerade ball, and in doing so, she has somewhat given her blessing to Lady Bridgerton for hosting the season's first ball. Oh, before I forget to mention this small detail that didn't go unmissed by me, Lady Featherington is wearing her daughter's colours in support of her and the young Lord Featherington, which is such a sweet gesture after all the drama before. Now for the juicy bits. As we see a few well-known faces getting ready for the ball, we are shown an already masked face we have never seen before, unless you've obviously seen the trailers, of course. This young lady slips into the ball behind a large group of people, and to make this review easier, because if you have seen my previous reviews or any teasers, trailers or spoilers, I'll refer to her as Cinderella for now. Cinderella is then given a dance card indicating her disguise has worked. The Queen calls Penelope Bridgerton to her side to discuss a new topic for the season. It is known from Season 1 that so far there have been young ladies as the season diamonds, and this season the Queen is keen on focusing on the most eligible bachelor. There are 3 new faces introduced to us again, and it is very obvious to the audience that these 3 are the stepmother and stepsisters to our Cinderella. Benedict mentioned earlier on in the episode that he is not interested in the ladies of the Ton, as they are all after the same thing, marriage. So when he sees Cinderella admiring the chandelier, he's instantly drawn to her. He rescues her from another suitor asking for a dance and takes her to the floor for a dance. She reveals she cannot dance, and Benedict calls her the silver ingénue. So I'm not French, so I do apologize if I butchered that. Who pretends she cannot dance, and he pretends to be dressed as a dance instructor. In an attempt for Benedict to escape his mother and Cinderella from her stepmother and stepsisters, the two go out to the private terrace. On their way out, the Queen notices how many young ladies are excited talking amongst each other and pointing to Benedict Bridgerton. The Queen announces to Penelope that Benedict shall be the season's most eligible bachelor. Benedict and Cinderella speak on the terrace for a while before Benedict playfully begins his dance lesson with Cinderella. After Cinderella accidentally steps on Benedict's foot, there is a rather suspenseful tension in the air, and the two nearly kiss. Benedict, being a gentleman, makes a stop to the action and kisses her on the cheek instead. But of course, it doesn't end there. Benedict takes off her glove, ta-da, have our so-called glass slipper, and he kisses the inside of her hand. The two are interrupted by the sound of a bell ringing inside. Cinderella inquires about the bell and is informed that the bell signals midnight. And it is time for everyone at the ball to reveal themselves. Benedict asks who Cinderella is, and she avoids his question by kissing him on the lips, and off goes Cinderella on her race home before her stepmother and stepsisters get back. There are a few details in between these scenes which I think are rather important, but I didn't want to interrupt the love story too much. So we get another glimpse of Lady Violet Bridgerton and Lady Danbury's brother. There was a sneaky little hand kiss there. We will most definitely be seeing more of this potential couple. The stepmother of the Cinderella story reveals that she and her family have been away from society after both of her husbands' deaths. Her first husband being a viscount, and the second, not much was said, but all we know is that she must have been our Cinderella's father. Lady Violet tells Benedict that she is very much set on finding matches for Benedict and Eloise this season, as they both been let free in previous seasons, but not this time. Eloise has her spinster dreams crushed, and Benedict is pushed into finding a wife. Francesca and her husband, Lord John Sterling, decide to stay in Mayfair for the season, as John decides he wants to participate in Parliament. Francesca is very happy about this because it seems as though she has missed her family. So she will enjoy seeing her family more often, and she will enjoy the privacy of her new home as Lady Sterling. Lady Danbury asks the Queen for permission to step out of society at the end of the season, because Lady Danbury wants to travel the world and occasionally visit Mayfair. The Queen seems to briefly think about it before simply saying no. Back to Cinderella. When she got back home, she raced to get undressed from her ball gown and back into her maid's outfit. Another maid comes in to ask how Cinderella's night was and let her know she had done Cinderella's chores exactly right. Cinderella then has to serve tea and to her stepmother and stepsisters, and then we find out that her name is Sophie. So yeah, Sophie-rella. Maybe that could be... No, never mind. Just Sophie. At no point has the show said that they are actually family, but because we all know the Cinderella story, it is safe to assume that this is the case. So, my thoughts so far, aka my wife's thoughts. I was definitely nervous about starting the season. I actually delayed starting this for a week, and I'm very happy to say that so far I'm not disappointed. It has some very obvious Cinderella vibes, but in all honesty, it works. I'm very happy that we still get to hear the iconic Lady Whistledown voiceovers, and I would say that since Penelope has made it known she is Lady Whistledown, this has created a new and more challenging task of gathering gossip and being able to publish with the constant attention from the Queen, and when the ton is given a chance from all the debutantes. So far, I remain optimistic, and I am still looking forward to watching more, which is a good sign. So let me know if you enjoyed the first episode of Bridgerton Season 4 as much as I did, and let me know if you enjoyed the recap or my recap and thoughts. Also, who is wearing your favorite costume at the masquerade ball? Mine was Lady Violet Bridgerton. She was dressed as enchanting Titania, the Queen of the Fairies. So that is that for Season 4, Episode 1 of Bridgerton. So please pop your thoughts into the comments, as well as if you like today's show. And do show us some love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. But that is it for today's episode of the Everything Podcast, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.